In our little condo, I said,
Okay, everybody, let's start learning something. Good morning, everybody. As we go to the Tanya, we continue to learn Tanya, learn Chassidus, as we march towards the 10th of Shvat, very special day at Chabad, day of the passing of the Rebbe and the previous Mavitch Rebbe and the birth of and the dedication of the present Rebbe who changed the world. And it all started off from the Alter Rebbe, who taught us the teachings of Tanya and the philosophy of Chabad. So we are Chabad, and therefore we try to have the concept that Alter Rebbe says, to have the concept of mind over matter. We're actually in the chapter of 17 of Tanya, and it's actually the chitas of the days. Today we began the 17th day of Tanya. So it's actually this is the same time we're learning chitas. And the Alter Rebbe is over here. We're a little further up. We're holding on page number 75, 74, the right-hand column. And the Alter Rebbe explains that the concept of kikarei veilecha hadava me'oid beficha b'vavcha la'aseise, how close to you, the verse. He based the whole Tanya on the verse kikarei veilecha, for it's very close to you, hadava me'oid, this thing is extremely close to you, beficha, in your mouth, b'vavcha, in your heart, la'aseise, to do. The Alter Rebbe is worried about the word b'vavcha, the concept of your heart. How can you say that something in the heart is very close to you when we see that emotions are emotionally mixed up, and it's very hard for us to get our emotions under control. That we have true avas Hashem, we have true love of God. We all had love of God and had nothing else that we loved in life. We wouldn't have any problems because we would put our full trust in God because we love Him and He loves us. And therefore, we put our trust in Him. It's like you have a love relationship. Somebody you can trust. How many people you could truly trust? You can say you count it on your hands. How many people you could truly trust? And even in your one's family, you can count even how many people you can truly trust. How many people you can truly trust that they're going to have your back, that you're going to be able to, when you fall, they'll pick you up. They're going to pick you up. Not they're going to tell you, call me when I need you, but they're going to be there for you. But the Eibishter, we can surely trust God, and God we trust. God we trust, everybody else pays cash. So in God we trust. We say we have betachon in the Eibishter, because the Eibishter, God is truly the one who will be there for us. We say the famous prayer, even King David says, Ki avi v'imi azavuni, v'Hashem yasveini, that even my father, my mother dropped me, so to say, in the wayside. They forgot about me, but God is the one who gathers me up. And I trust in HaKadosh Baruch Hu. I trust in God that He has the power and the capability and the desire to do the good, what's good for me. And that is a strong thing. That's not an easy thing, especially to feel it in your heart, to feel it truly. I can have an intellectual concept. I can have this emunah. I can have this faith in my mind. But trust is more than faith. Trust is, again, that I fall backwards and I know somebody's going to pick me up. Once heard this lady on the phone, on the internet, on the radio, says, you want to test out your husband. When he walks in the door, stand a couple of feet in front of him and fall backwards. See if he'll pick you up, if he'll catch you. If he doesn't catch you, basically he's too busy. But try it on a carpet. Right? We're here to pick up each other. We're here to uplift one another. I said yesterday in Shul, that the Eibishter says, I'm there for you. I'm going to take you out of this problem. I'll save you. Whatever level of gullus you're in, right? Whatever tzara you're in, whether it's a physical tzara, an emotional tzara, intellectual tzara, whatever pain and suffering you're in, I'll be there for you. If nobody will be there for you, trust me, I'll be there for you. Right? That's what the Eibusha says, even before the end of as I said, right in the beginning of the portion. God says, I'm going to be there for you. I'm there for you. If anybody you don't need anybody else. Al tiftuchum in divim. That's what we say in our davening. Al tiftuchum in divim be'even adu she'ein le'tshua. I don't put my trust in man because there's no salvation from the trust of man. I put my trust in HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and that's it. I trust God. He's going to do the right thing. And when I throw my trust in HaKadosh Baruch Hu, then things work out, hopefully for the better. And the Eibush is okay. You trust me, so I'll be there for you. Truth is, the Eibush we say in our davening, we start off our davening, Meidani lefanecha melachai v'kayim shechzayta bi nishmasi v'chem l'rabba menusecha. What does that mean? The truth is, we don't have to go far away to put this trust in God, because as we learn Chassidus, everybody has a spark of God within him. So that's the pasuk. Everything that I'm telling you, that you should trust me, you should put your trust in me, you should do Torah mitzvahs, you should connect, is not something that's even very far from you. Because as we learn in Chassidus, that every Jew has a chelik elakam imal mamish, every Jew has a part of God within him, so it's within you. So you can reveal yourself, and you'll reveal the godliness within you. So it's not something that's even far away. So we have an neshama, and the question is how much we can connect to our neshama, how much we connect to our soul. It's really not an easy thing to do, to connect to one's soul, because it takes contemplation, it takes some meditation, it takes some thought. Doesn't have if you're indifference. It says he saw in this civilization. You see a couple of times throughout the story. It says the concept of civilization in their burdens. Their burdens. That's the simple interpretation. It's an interesting word, civilization. So civilization can also be translated in your patience. In your patience. The gullus could be that we have patience, right? We accept the pain. The Moshe Rabbeinu goes out, also the same expression. He goes out to see the burdens of the Jews. He goes out and he sees the Jews. Jews get comfortable with the situation. Okay, we're in gullus. We got to take the pain. We have to have patience. We have to just take this pain. We accept we accept the burdens. We accept this burden. We accept this tzadis. Yeah, it's a lot. That's it. It's a lot. This is life. That's it. That's what Yidden did. That's not good. That's not good. A Yid needs to scream that he doesn't belong in Gullus. A Yid needs to scream he doesn't belong in exile. He can't have patience for this. At Masai, this is enough. We can't just say this is part of life. Part of life. It's part of life. Imagine 100 days today. Part of life. The Jews are hostages today. It's part of life. It's almost like part of normal kind of a situation. This is what we have to handle. We don't know. This is not. We don't have to handle this. This is incorrect. We surely should scream out to God that this is not the right thing. This is not normal. Not normal. Not normal. This needs to change. This needs to be changed. It needs to be changed. It's time to take the shackles off of the Jewish nation. It's time to take the shackles of the world off the Jewish nation. Shibud Malchus. That even the Jews continue to deal with civilization, we're too patient to accept upon ourselves this burden, to accept upon ourselves this situation that we accept it. We accept it. So for some reason we like to say that this is what we have to go through. This is our lot, not our lot. We belong our shulchan avinu. We belong on the table of we belong in freedom. We belong in freedom. We belong to enjoy life without having burdens of mishigasin of the world that continues to burden us. Truth is, in my own burdens, every person has their own burdens. That's not normal. It's not normal to have worries and anxieties and burdens upon us. This is not the normal. And if you accept it upon yourself, oh, this is normal, that's not. That's civilizations. We saw that the Jewish people had patience. They accepted their lot. And that's why the Abba said, I'll save you from that also. I'll save you. I'll save you from this concept. I know that you have in your heart, that's called Timtum Alev. That's what the Alter Rebbe over here, Timtum Alev, we come to dullness of the heart. We get used to our own evil, our own insyncrasies, our own deficiencies. We say, this is it. That's it.
Not so wonderful.
No, that's the problem. You cannot accept it. No, you can't accept it. We are not allowed to accept it. We need to cry out to God and say we need to change it. Things need to change. We need to change. Why? Because I have I have a godly soul, and that godly soul demands freedom in all aspects. No worries, no pain, no suffering. Spiritual life, good life. And the Alter Rebbe says that the truth is, if we have tranquility within ourselves and we have happiness within ourselves, we wouldn't have any struggles with anything. But we're unhappy. We're struggling with ourselves. We think we're not good. We think we're in tzaddis. We think we're in pain. We have all these situations that give us these struggles. We have to have bitachon that gives us nechama, stability. I'm trying to find the right English word. Tranquility. Opening of mind. The biggest struggle we have when we have problems is our mind. We cannot think correctly. We can't think with clarity. We can't think with surety. Our mind is bothered. Our mind is clouded. Timtum halev v'hamayach. It's called the stuffing of the heart and the mind. Our mind becomes stuffy, like when you're sick. You have a clouded head. It's hard to think. You want to do a whole day sleep. Right? So a lot of times we want to sleep. It's better to sleep. Let's go to sleep. Who wants to deal with the day? Let's get schluffen. Like that's gonna change anything. Run away. But you cannot blame. I'm not feeling well. My head is clouded. I'm gonna go to sleep. Take a 2 aspirins and talk to me tomorrow. That's what we do. Right? Because we're gonna run away from this reality. And that's sad. That's a struggle we have. So we have to get out of this. We got to get out of the cloud. We got to get the head out of the cloud. The Alter Rebbe says we can do it. We can get the head out of the cloud. We could. If we wanted, we can connect again to our true faith. We can connect again to our bitachon in God because it's close to us. Our neshama is within us. We just have to reveal the soul a little bit in our mind to meditate on God, how great God is. Right? I said the expression once. Last night I said, "Don't tell God how great your problem is. Tell your problem how great God is." We have to be able to flip it. Sometimes it's hard to flip that, right? So we have to tell the Eibush, sure, there's a problem, but you're greater than the problem. You're greater than the situation. You are more powerful than the situation. Do we believe that God is more powerful than the situation or not? I don't know. I say that, but ultimately, when the problem's in front of me, I mean, okay, let's go weiter. So that's within, right? We were holding. We were holding. 74. So Alter Rebbe says this, so we need to break the clipper. We need to break the fog. And the fog, how do we break the fog? Is by realizing what the fog is doing. The fog is doing one thing. It's not going to help you. Nothing is going to help you but action. So therefore, the fog is not going to help you. The fog is only having one concept. It's separating you from heaven. It's separating you from your betachon, from your faith. That's what the fog is doing. That's what the unclarity is doing. What the anxiety is doing. It's doing one thing. It's creating the separation between you and God. And that is a sad situation. If a person would realize that that's a true sadness is that I'm separated from God. My neshama is separated from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And that's what I should get bitter over. My lack of betachon, my lack of faith. If I had faith in HaKadosh Baruch Hu, I had trust in God, I would be connected to God. And God would give me some aspect of relief. But I have this separation. I have, for some reason, I cannot have betachon to the Eibush, and that has to create a sadness within a person. That creates a sadness. It breaks this clipper. Sadness, miridus, bitterness of this lack of connection. We all have a lack of connection. You with me? So that's the thing. In order that to shatter the clipper, which formed a sundering curtain and an iron partition that interposes between them and their Father in heaven by a means of contriteness of the heart and the bitterness of the soul over their sins, their separations. As explained in the Zohar, on the verse, the sacrifice of God are a broken spirit, a broken and contrite heart. Through breaking of one's heart, the spirit of uncleanness of the sitracha is broken. And he brings down different places where this is brought out. We need to break our animalistic soul. We need to break this cloud. The way we break the cloud is by realizing what the Yetzer Hara is accomplishing. What is by evil, what this cloud, this negative is accomplishing one thing, and that is to put a curtain between me and what I believe in, between me and my trust in God. We start to second guess ourselves. And when a person puts himself down, that's Alter Rebbe said in Tanya, the beginning of Tanya, that you lost already. If you put yourself down, you negate yourself. There's no gain out of negating oneself. Even if it's true. Even if it's not so holy. But negating oneself is no gain. Because that's going to diminish your power to overcome things in life. We always can find negative hours. No tzaddikim, unless you're a tzaddik. You're going to find something that you are not totally good in. That you're not totally perfect in. That there's a lot of work needs to be done. Still a work in progress. We're all a work in progress. I always tell people I'm a work in progress. Baruch Hashem, I haven't completed my mission. I'm a work in progress. I'm still in the service of God. So I'm not a tzaddik. When I finished, completed myself, I'm still a work in progress. I got a lot to do. It's going to take me maybe 120 years to accomplish this work. So I'm a very slow learner. I'm very slow. I'm 180, fine. I think it's going to take eternity. So it's my wife tells me it's going to take eternity. So if it's going to take eternity, then the Eibishter needs to give me eternity to work on my issues. I have deep issues. I've got deep problems. Even psychiatrists can't help me. I got issues. I got a lot of issues. But nevertheless, that's not that if I'm going to accentuate these concepts, doesn't take away that I have a godly soul. With my issues, I still have a godly soul. I'm still part of God. I'm still the same person I was born with. I was born like. I've not changed. And I need to work on it, as the Alter Rebbe is going to tell us later. And you need to work on your issues, no question. There's time to work on these issues, and especially if I've sinned. There needs to be worked on. There's no question about it. You got to do tshuva on your Avedis. There's no question about it. That's why you have Yom Kippur, and we have fast days, and we say Al Chet every morning, and we bring our hearts. There's a time to work on these things. There's a time and a place. If you want to work on sin, you got to do it right. Sin cannot be something that can be done. You need to work on it. If I've done a sin in my life, whatever, when I did it, doesn't make a difference when I did it, 20 years ago, 100 years ago, doesn't make a difference. I need to work on that sin, and I need to ultimately do tshuva on a sin that I've done. That's it. No, there's no easy way out of that. You did a sin. I did a sin. I need to change. I need to do tshuva. I need to repent. I need to ask God forgiveness truly for my sin. But that's a time. I need a time. Even in Torah, there's a time for that. The time when you ask God forgiveness for your sin, whether it's Alter Rebbe say later, between chatzos at night, whatever. When you have, because to fix your sin, you need to have a quiet place. Person needs to have a quiet moment with him to reflect on the sin that he did, whether it's 20 years ago, 50 years, doesn't make a difference with the time you did the sin, and you need to fix it. A sin should not cloud your mind for 24/7. Because that's not the way you're going to fix it. So therefore, Yetzer Hara wants to cloud you. Oh, you're a negative person. So therefore, you cannot win anything. You're a loser. You're a loser. There's no Jew that's a loser. There's no Jew that's a loser. Yisrael, right? The verse says, Yisrael, Afal Pi Shachata Yisraelu. Doesn't make a difference. A person has sinned, he's still a Yid, and he still has the mission of what he needs to accomplish in this world. To bring light. He gets lighter as we talk. Yeah. To bring light in the world. The mission continues. The mission is not only for tzaddikim. The mission is that the Eibishter wanted to transform this world with light of godliness for every Jew. Whether you're a sinner, whether you're a tzaddik, you still have a mission in this world. And you have to accomplish that mission. You have to take care of that. You have to take care of that. But what's happening? Yetzer Hara, your animal soul, my evil inclination is trying to diminish the whole mission. You're not a person. You're not a good person. Clouding the situation. I can't accomplish what I'm here to do. So I'm tired. I'm anxieties. I am falling apart. So what are you going to gain out of it? You gain nothing. That's exactly what your Yetzer Hara wants you to gain nothing. For him, the gain of nothing is better. Because it destroys your life. And that's why that's really why I have to say, what a sad situation that this is bringing me down, that I cannot accomplish. I can't live with my godly soul. Suddenly I cannot reveal my godly soul because I've done A, B, C, D, or E, F, G. And that was the beauty of Chassidus. That was the beauty of the Rebbe. That he didn't care, he didn't look at the person. Any person that came to him, whether he was a learned, a tzaddik, or even a regular person, he gave him a mission. He didn't ask them with their qualifications, or who they were, or their background, or their spiritual qualifications. Are they holy? Are they unholy? He didn't care by him. The Rebbe always gave everybody a mission. Got to do something. He gave even the most. Rebbe spoke. Remember, there was a rabbi. He's a good rabbi, former rabbi. Spoke to them. They're leaders. They have to do their mission. They have to accomplish their mission. They have to accomplish their mission. They can't let their leaders. If you're leaders, you have to take responsibility of people you're leading. It's not about you. It's about people you're leading. You have to make sure you're leading them correctly. So you have to be careful, right? If you're a leader, consider yourself a leader. You want to do whatever you want to do. You want to be. I mean, he told them in a back way. You need to. You need to be careful what you are leading. It's not about you. If you're a leader, then it's about what people you're leading. So you can't take your own You can't become a leader and take people to be like you, because it's not about you. You might be leading them the wrong way. He didn't say that. But I was sitting there, remember. You're a leader, you take responsibility to the people. Then you have to make sure that you're leading them to the right path. You can't say, "Oh, you." So then you have to lead them to God. You have to lead them to the Eivishter. That's what your leader is, to lead them to God. So don't mix in your personal agenda. You have to lead them to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, right? So why would you lead people to not to God as leaders? You want to do yourself. You want to live your own life and have a good life. That's your personal issue. But you can't be a leader and lead people to your own personal agenda, right? So the Abishah said, "You to be light to the nations." Your neshama says to you, even though you have your own personal agenda, you're a human being. You have your own personal agenda. But there's a God. What about the mission? What about the godly agenda? That's why the concept of Chil Hashem in Judaism, it's an interesting concept of Chil Hashem. You're disgracing God. It's a big thing. Chil Hashem. And when other people see that you're acting in a non-right way, it's a chila disgracing God's name. Why? What do you mean? Why can't the people just say Zalman book it? Because again, because you have a mission. You didn't come down for yourself. You came down to reveal godliness to the world. And when people see that as your mission is a negative thing you're doing, so you're not only disgracing Zalman book, you're disgracing God. And therefore, there's a big difference. You're a rabbi, a regular person. A Yid needs to be Mekadesh Shem Shamayim. A Jew needs to sanctify God's name. Yep.
The TV sometimes has pictures of pious people doing horrible, horrible things that reflect on us.
Yep.
And it's a disgrace.
I agree.
I don't understand how they could take their pious belief and confuse it with
Because they're doing that, because again, they're not thinking about the God, they're thinking about themselves. And we're human beings. That's what we are. We're human beings. And we decide that we can think about ourselves. So therefore, if you want to go and do something negative, go privately. Do it privately. But if you're doing it publicly, hide somewhere, right? Right. But if you're doing it publicly, then you have to realize that you're not only reflecting yourself, you're reflecting God. And therefore, you're either going to Mekadesh Shem Shamayim, either going to sanctify God's name, or you're going to disgrace God's name. And that's what you have to also care about. It's not about yourself. It's about somebody else. It's a very important thing. It's a hard thing. It's a very hard thing. Because always people will say, "Oh, you're a Jew," whatever. But you can't always help everybody or control everybody. But it's a very important thing that a person should realize that he's reflecting not only himself, he's reflecting the godliness that's in him. He's reflecting God's mission. What is God's mission in this world? And therefore, a person needs to realize that is the most important thing that he has when he creates this negative kind of a attitude in life. You want to be negative? Be negative. Close the door. Scream at yourself. Scream in the mirror. Do whatever you want to do. It does whatever makes you happy. Be negative. Some people are negative. Why to be negative in the outside? Why must you be negative in when other people meet you? When other people come in contact with you? Other people come in contact with you. They want to see a hadar spanim. They want to see a happy face. Who wants to sit around a negative person? Who wants to sit around a negative entity in their life? Somebody that has to criticize everything and anything that's happening in the world. People want to hear positive things. We know the negative, what's happening in the world. You don't have to emphasize it. That was the beauty again. When you go around holy people, you had the merit to hear that not that they're naive, they know exactly what's going on in the world. But they always looked at it in a positive way. They always flipped it over into a positive way. Why not? I need to explain you negativity. When a person has tzaddis, you want to explain to him, yeah, your tzaddis will go into more deeper your tzaddis. We'll tell you more your tzad. That's what you want to hear. You want to hear something uplifting. You want to be uplifting, uplifted. So, Chassidus, everything is connected to your neshama. I mentioned that yesterday. And there's the 4 levels of the soul. There's 5 levels of the soul, right? And there's the lowest level of the soul is the nefesh, which the nefesh gets involved with the physical part of life. That's the nefesh. That's in the 4 letters of God's name, Yud K Vav K. Yud K Vav K, the lowest letter, Hey, is the lowest part of the nefesh. So that's what you'll see. Yud K is the highest, the first 2 letters, Yud Hey. I said Yud K, but it's Yud Hey, Vav Hey. I'm just trying to give a little change to the word, not to say God's name by mistake. So I said Yud K, Vav K, but it's really Yud Hey, Vav Hey, which is the 4 letters of God's name. So Yud Hey stands for the upper level of the soul, and Vav Hey stands for the lower levels of the soul. So the Hey, the lower Hey is the nefesh. The Vav is the emotion, the 6 emotions of the soul, which is the ruach of the soul. Then the Hey, the upper Hey, is the understanding of the soul, and the neshama of the soul. And then you have the chiddush. The yud is really for the ratzon, the higher level of the soul within the body. Then you have the ultimate before higher than that. Is not even a name. It's the Yichidish Nefesh. It's the oneness of the soul. Has no. It's like an entity of godliness that cannot be put in a name. Ein Sof, the infinity of the soul. So the journey of the soul really is in these 4 levels. That's the basic journey out of Mitzrayim, as in the pasuk I mentioned yesterday. In the 4 psukim, Mitzeisi, Mitzalti, Agalti, V'lakachti, and Ve'evesi is the 5th level, which has to do with the revelation of God in Eretz Yisrael, the revelation of the soul, God in the soul, which is all connected. That's what the Rebbe would always say, that the ultimate is that the Shleimus Ha'am, Shleimus Ha'aretz, and Shleimus HaTorah, that you have the complete nation, the Jewish nation in its entirety. You have the Eretz Yisrael in its entirety, Shleimus Ha'aretz, the completion of Eretz Yisrael, the purpose of Eretz Yisrael, the building of the Beis Hamikdash, that's a shleimus of Eretz Yisrael, and the shleimus HaTorah, the complete Torah. You cannot have, you won't. Right now, we are missing in all these 3 things. Right, we're missing in shleimus of Eretz Yisrael. We're missing in shleimus HaTorah. We cannot keep the entire Torah. And we cannot do it, therefore we're missing in Am Yisrael. We're missing in these 3 entities that need to come together as one, and in true unity and in true complete concept, true completion. And that's ultimately the 5th level of Avesel Aretz. I'll bring you to the land, which I promise you, and it's going to be the Gula, the redemption of the Jewish nation, which is the ultimate concept of this going out of Golus, going out of Eretz. That's all. So that's the ultimate everything. It's the ultimate of all the completion of the journey, the completion of the mission completed, mission complete, and that's all we're heading to. That's why it's a separate concept, and that's why I mentioned it has to do with the kisa. It has to do with the cup Elijah, which is connected to Mashiach, and etc. So you have the 4 cups, and then you have the 5th cup of wine, which is separate. We don't even drink it, right? We're not drinking it yet.
Look to see if it moves.
Right. 16 right. Because he's drinking Elijah, because Elijah is supposed to drink for right. So, what is our first journey? Is to uplift ourselves the lower hay. That's what I'll tell you. The first journey in going out of Gullus is lifting up your nefesh, is lifting up your soul. That means getting it off the earth, uplifting myself a little bit, uplifting the most thing that draws me down is uplifting it. Veitzesi, and go out of one's tzeisi, the first verse, veitzesi. Veitzesi, vegalti, velakachti. So the veitzesi, vitzalti, vegalti, velakachti. Veitzesi, going out. Where your nefesh, where my nefesh can uplift itself from the confines of what I'm in, and I can have a relief. That's the first level. That's the first concept of going out, releasing the letter Hey. The letter Hey is the lowest, is the fourth letter that in God's name. That letter gets stuck in the mud. That's the letter that gets stuck in the mud. That's the letter that gets stuck in the earth, gets stuck in what's happening into my day-to-day life. It's very hard to uplift my other letters if this letter is stuck in the mud. So I need to get out of constraints. I need to pray to God. You know, Mitzrayim is constraint. Mitzrayim comes from the Meitzah, constraint, confinement, jail. I'm a hostage. We're all a hostage. We're all hostages by our animal soul. It was dragging us down, schlepping us down, bringing us to the mud, making us dirty, creating this negative feeling that we have. We need to redeem that. We need to take that out. We need to
Could you give an
uplift
example,
ourselves.
Rabbi Booker?
We need to think positive about ourselves. What? Yeah, we need to think positive ourselves. We have to separate the action from ourselves. Just like we need to do it for others, separation of action from themselves, we need to do it to ourselves. We need to understand that whatever happened in life, whatever's happening is not per se me, has nothing to do with me, who I really am. Circumstances, situations bring about negative things in life, but it's not me. There's me and there's what I'm going through. And that takes away, that's separate, that's called bitter. That is the concept of sifting, of separating. And we need to contemplate that. We need to make that clear decision that it's not who I really am. And that's taking out, veitzesi. You need to uplift that letter. You need to uplift that soul. And my nefesh. My nefesh is who I am. I am a good person. I am a godly person. I'm a Jew. And therefore, it's whatever's happening, whatever I've done, whatever is not really me. It's my actions. I need to rectify that, but it has nothing to do with me. That's why you say, the problem is that the education of the past, or maybe somebody told you in the past. Maybe you have to go to the past and think about what people have told you, that you're bad, or we heard maybe these expressions: you're a loser, you're a bad person, you're not good person. All these expressions, maybe somebody told you, a teacher told you, your parents told you, I don't know whoever told you, or somebody told you, leaves a very, very, very powerful impression on a person. And it's untrue. It's untrue. And a person needs to come to that conclusion. He needs to think about it. He needs to redeem himself. And the only one who can do that is yourself. You need to redeem yourself. You need to step out of the situation. You need to push it. And that's not great things because it's true. It's not such great tshuva. You're not doing it. It's a push it, saying the truth that I am elevating myself out of the mud. Nobody's going to decide on me who I am and who I really am. Nobody has the right to tell me who I really am. Not even my parents have the right to tell me who I really am. Nobody has the right to tell me who I am. I know who I am. And every person knows that he's a good person. I'm talking about evil people here, hopefully. We're good people. We're good people. We want to do good. We want to be healthy. We want to be good. Why? Well, anybody, everybody wants to be good. Wake up in the morning, you want to have a good day. Who wants to have a bad day? Who wants to hear the news? We want to have a good day. We want to do good things.
Could this apply to not what somebody told a person, but the way they behave towards them? Like,
Even
let's
when
say
they
kids growing up,
Again, even if they behave terrible. I'm not saying even if they behave
and
terrible.
then the
Even if they
kid
behave
ends up
terrible.
thinking
So what?
certain things. Is that what you mean also?
What you say?
I don't know. I work with a lot of at-risk kids. So my question is, a lot of these kids are treated, let's say they're neglected or they're emotionally neglected or something, but nobody told them you're bad. They just don't treat them like they're valuable.
Correct. Correct.
Is
Oh,
that
even
part of
that.
what you're saying here?
Yeah, 100%. People can treat you even if people didn't say that you're bad, but they treated you not correctly. People are human beings, and the way they're treated is the way that can affect them. Therefore, you have to treat everybody good, but we don't. And people treat people not incorrectly, and it affects their lives. But ultimately, who can help them? They need to help themselves. They need the thing they need to do is uplift themselves. And the truth is, that's the brachas. If you listen to your brachas in the morning, you realize that you don't need anybody. The Eibishter gave you all your talents and all your capabilities. You don't need anybody to uplift you. The Eibishter uplifted you already. You can see, you can walk, you can talk, you listen to your blessings in the morning. When you say in the morning, you'll realize that all those blessings is that I have. Just like anybody else. I have all these qualities and all these capabilities and all these things. Nobody gave it to me, all these things, but God. And therefore, I don't need anybody's recognition. If somebody was negative, I surely don't need his or hers evaluation. I need to uplift myself. Halavai, you have somebody that uplifts you. And therefore, you should hang around people that will be uplifting. Uplifting, it will be uplifting. It's beautiful. You should do that. But really, you should do it yourself. You should uplift yourself. You should go out of your own thing. Every person should realize that he is good. God doesn't make bad. He doesn't make bad things, doesn't make evil things. He makes good, and you are good. God doesn't make garbage. He makes perfection. Everybody is perfect. Like my wife says, perfectly imperfect. Perfectly perfect, whatever. We're perfect people. I said yesterday, you said children. I said yesterday, we were celebrating the birth of a child over here, the naming of a child. That really, the truth is, a child is not yours. What does it do? It belongs to you. A child is a gift by the Eibishter. He gave you a gift. The child belongs to God. It's God's child. The Eibishter child. The child belongs to you. Ultimately, the child tells you, I don't belong to you. He gave you a gift. He gave you a gift to do your best. To do your best. And every child will tell you didn't do your best. I mean, that's what's going to be, because you're not there to. It's the Eibishter. See, the Eibishter gave this child life, not you. Not you. And you want your child to be independent. You don't want your child to be dependent. You want your child to be independent. That's the beauty of bringing up children. They become independent. They make their own families. Baruch Hashem. Because they have their own life. They are created by God. They're creation. You have the schus to bring him into the world. Baruch Hashem. Halavai, they'll realize one day all the effort and toil and suffering you went through to do that job. Something to take them to have children to come to that realization that, you know, what their parents gave up in life to do the job, to try to do the job as correct as possible. But ultimately, my point over here is that every person needs to look into his mirror and not blame his parents or not to blame anybody, but to try to fix himself, to try to uplift himself, because God created him. And God gives him all the talents that he has in life. And God gives him the capability of thinking. God gives him the capability of emotions. Everything, look at all your blessings that you're going to say in the morning. You're not thanking your parents, you're thanking God. Because that's the truth. So your parents are a partner in this situation, and that's the kibbud av v'em, because you have to recognize that. But ultimately, who gave you your life is the Eibishter, who gives you right now life. It's not your parents, it's the Eibishter, gives you the capability to breathe and do everything that you need to do to live. So that's the Alter Rebbe said. This category of low repentant, whereby the lower letter Hey is raised up from its fall into the forces of evil. That's it. When you uplift the lower letter, the nefesh, get your soul, the soul that is connected to this physical world, get him out of constraint. Move him up. Move your soul out of its bondage. Uplift yourself, which is the mystery of the Shechinah in exile. That's the mystery. You want to know the Shechinah in exile? Is my nefesh being stuck and not be able to lift myself? That is God in exile. That he cannot lift himself. I'm dragging on the floor. Complaining, I'm unhappy, I'm unsatisfied. I have millions of things that don't let me be positive. Sad kind of existence. And that's it. As our rabbis of Blessed Rebbe said, when the Israelites were exiled into Edom, the Shekhinah went with them. The Shekhinah went with them. It's interesting that the last Galus is a Shekhinah, is the Galus Edom. That's Rome. But what's it called? Edom. Edom is Esav. Why was it called Edom? Because he was red blood.
Oh, he had red hair.
And it was red. He was red in his face. His face was red. Edom, his blood. That's the nefesh. And nefesh is Edom. That's why the Alter Rebbe will say later that this galus? This galus is the galus of action. It's a galus. Our problem is dealing with action. We rectified intellect and emotions even. We can drag ourselves out of Edom. We need to drag our nefesh out of the blotter. You know, blotter is the mud. The mud, blotter. The mud. You have a carriage. In those days, a carriage used to always get stuck in blotter. It always got stuck in the mud. And that's the situation. We're stuck in the mud. We're stuck in the earth.
Adam is here understood allegorically as the embodiment of evil.
Yeah. Adam.
Rome.
It's about the physical. It's about the physical beauty. Rome is about physical beauty. Rome, what did Rome do? Rome built. They had a great thing. A lot of roads and buildings, and they were into the earth.
It was all about death.
Yeah, ultimately, it's all about death. Ultimately, it's about power. Rome is about power. That's it. It's about power. It's about domination of others. So they took all their beauty, and it was all about domination. Rome was all about domination of other people. Either you were there or you were there, by Rome. You were either a free person or a slave. Yeah. Yeah, it's a sad situation, but that they took all the beauty and all the power, they used it, it's all carnage. That was the truth. Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai said that. He said when they got together, one rabbi said, "Oh, look at the beauty of Rome they created," and one was quiet. And Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai said, "It's all selfish. They have not done anything for themselves, but for themselves, for the power, for their glory, for their carnage. It was basically evil, which got him in trouble." Self-understood.
I thought we were in Golis Yishmael. What's the difference?
No, we're in Rome. Golis Edom. We're in Golis Edom. The Shekhinah went with them. The Eibush says, even in Edom, even wherever you're going to go, the lowest levels of the earth, I'm there with you. But when the Eibush is there with us, we're in Golis. We're in Golis. The Eibush is in Golis too. So just like God, in when we talk about it myself, my godly soul is stuck now in the mud. My godly soul is basically stuck with me and my dilemmas. Why? Because it cannot do its mission because it's stuck in this dilemma. You're stuck. I'm stuck in the dilemma, and my godly soul is stuck in this dilemma. I'm clouded. My godly soul is clouded. That's what's happening. So we're both in the blotter. We're both stuck in the mud. That's gullus. That's not just that your body is in gullus. My godly soul is in gullus. I need to grab myself, and that's what I should really worry about. To grab myself, uplift myself, to push it, to take myself out of this gullus, out of this exile. And I need the Eibush to help me. I need the Eibush to. I need God to help me get out. Nobody else is going to help me. But God's going to help me get out of this blotter, this mud. So when the rabbi said, when it went out there, that is to say, that a person practices the acts of Edom, he degrades and brings down there the divine sparks that vitalizes his nefesh, ruach, and neshama that are clothed within him in the animal soul of Klal. That's what happens. So ultimately, what happens? When I'm stuck in the mud, I get emotionally stuck in the mud. I get intellectually stuck in the mud. And ultimately, my nefesh, ruach, and neshama is stuck in the mud. And that's it. I start emotionally feeling drowned. I start intellectually feeling down. I'm pushed, dragged. And what am I doing? I drag my neshama into the mud. That's what I've accomplished. And that's what I have to worry about. Because I'm taking who I know, who is really I am, and I'm dragging him into something that is terrible. That, if I can awaken up that, why am I doing this to myself? What am I doing to my true self? Dragging myself into something that is totally the opposite of me, of who I am. And the Alter Rebbe felt, I know sometimes the mud is very deep. Yes. Oh, I know sometimes the situation is very hard to get out of and very deep. Alter Rebbe felt that a person can uplift himself, can do it, can think about it, and ultimately uplift himself from this situation. He would be able to do it. You got to try. If you're never going to try, then you're going to wait for some outside help to help you out. Then you might be waiting for a very long time.
Do or do not.
If you never try, you'll never succeed.
Correct. So we push it, need to try. We need to try this. We need to try it. Because again, not only if you try it for yourself, why should you be in the mud, and why should you be stuck in this negative kind of a feeling in the intellectual, the fog? Your godly soul is in the fog. That's the bigger pain. That's the big sadness over here. That my godly soul, that's a part of God within me, is stuck in this situation. So not only am I dragging myself, I'm dragging somebody else in this situation. Why would I want to drag somebody? Let's say even if I'm dragging somebody else, not my God, I'm dragging my wife in this situation, or dragging my kids in this situation. Like I used to ask my father, well, "How are you so happy?" He said, "I don't want you to be unhappy. I didn't want you to be happy. Why did I need to drag you in my pain? Why do I need to drag you into my suffering? What am I going to do? I'm going to suffer and you're going to suffer."
So why are you so happy?
Because he was happy. He was happy. I asked him, like, "Why are you so happy?" He used to give me different answers. I chose to be happy, he once told me. And then he said, "Why would I?" Because he never spoke about his pain. Never spoke about anything unless you had to drag it out from him. We would drag it out from him, to tell us, what, the pain and suffering he went through in life. He didn't want to talk about it. And he said, why, first of all, why do I want to remind myself of this pain? And why would I want to make you painful? Well, what would be the gain? What would there be a gain? They will both be sad. I don't want you to be sad. You should be happy. And therefore, I'm not going to dwell on it. I begged my father many times to go to Poland with me. He never did it. And, I wanted to take a journey, a historical journey. He didn't look at it as a historical journey. He didn't look at it as a historical journey. He said, "No, I don't want to go back to the pain of my life. I'm not interested in it at all. I have no interest." But that was his feeling. Other parents did this journey with their parents, whatever. Everybody's entitled to their own way they want to handle life and the way they want to express it. But that's true. The truth is that ultimately I'm dragging the Alter Rebbe once, just like you wouldn't drag your children or your wife or your spouse, or your loved one, you drag him into your pain and suffering. Why would you do that? Why am I dragging my godly soul into this whole schmutz? What does he need? What did he do wrong that he deserves to go through this suffering? What does God deserve that the Yidden wanted to sin, that he has to go to Gullus with them? He has to go to exile with them. Really, that's what the Rebbe would say. You have to cry out, why does God needs to come out of this exile? Why does he deserve this exile? What did he do wrong to deserve to come just because you want to be in Edom, you want to go to Edom, that the Abish needs to go to Edom with you? Why do you need to do that? Why would you want to do that? Cry for God. He should want to go out of Gullus. I'm sure he wants to go out of this exile. So that's why just to end it off. You see, so that's why our nefesh ultimately drags. That's why you'll see Chassidus Naran, nefesh, ruach, neshama. Those are the three parts of the soul that every person has within him. Is his nefesh, ruach, and neshama. His intellect, his emotions, and his physical part of his soul that's with him every single day of his life. Can't get rid of that, and that's part of him. So every time you do something that is not right, you're dragging these three levels of your neshama into something that is clear.
I don't understand the difference between the three. They all mean soul.
Right, but different levels. So one is the intellect of the soul.
Which one is that?
Neshama. The ruach is the emotions of the soul. The 6 emotions of the soul. Yes, but okay, no problem. And then the lowest is the nefesh dam, the nefesh or dam. That's why I said Edom dam. Nefesh dam is the way the nefesh touches the physical.
The middle, the 6 emotions.
This is ruach, spirit, the spirit of the soul. That's the emotions of the soul. So I take the emotions, I take these 3 levels, and I drag them with me wherever I go. So you have to imagine when I'm doing something bad or I'm thinking something bad, my nefesh, ruach, neshama is thinking that also.
But
Not
who's
that
the I in this?
not
Like
that
when
he
you say
enjoys
I
thinking-
drag it,
What?
when you say I drag those 3 levels of soul, who's the I here?
My nefesh Bahamas. My animal
But,
soul.
and is that not part of your soul? The Nefesh
No,
Bahama is.
Nefesh Bahamas is the second soul. There's two souls. That's the real Chassidus. There's two souls. You have a Nefesh Elokis and a Nefesh Bahamas. So now I drag my Nefesh Bahamas drags my Nefesh Elokis because he has no choice. He's with me and he has to go wherever I go. And whenever I think something evil, my Nefesh Elokis is forced to think it. And whenever I do something evil, Chas v'shalom, my Nefesh Elokis is forced to be with there. He has no choice. He's part of me and he has no choice. And he has to go wherever I go. And in essence, so too God has to go wherever you go. So wherever you think an evil thing, the Abish is sitting right there and he has to be part of this evil thought. And whenever Chas v'shalom, I do an evil thing, the Abish is part of this evil thing. He has no choice, so to say. He's right there. He's part of this evil thing and he's part of this journey. So why would I put God and my godly soul through this journey? That's what I have to think for a second before I do something, or before I even think. So why do I need to put God and my godly soul through this? I don't need to do it. I shouldn't do it. And therefore, I should uplift myself not to do these things. I need to uplift myself. Now, even though it's not real, because ultimately I know who I am, but I have an animalistic soul, I'm very connected to the physical world. And every time something physical happens in the world, I feel it and it drags me down. I need to push it every time I try to uplift myself and try to take a breather, take a deep breath. Take a deep breath. Okay. Take a deep breath. Stop for a moment. Take a deep breath. And I used to have a guy, his name was Alex. You remember Alex? He used to do physical training. He tell me, get out the gunk. He said, that's what he would say. Get out the gunk. Take out the gunk. That was his expression. Take a deep breath. Get out the stuff on you. Hey, take a deep breath in. Take a deep breath out. Inhale, exhale. Take a deep breath in. Take a deep breath out. Elevate yourself. Change. Realize that breath and that deep breath in and that deep breath out. Realize you're a better person. You're a better person. You're better than that. You're better than that.
We need
And-
to
and-
we actually finished chapter 17.
No, yeah.
We get a Yashikoa.
We did.
Why doesn't anybody
It's done,
comment?
it's gone, that's the last word.
Yeah, you
We're
sure?
done.
No. Where's 18?
Yeah, I think it is.
Where's
From
18?
this
Moving
point
on.
Yeah.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
I didn't finish it, which is the gate. A clothed within him, animal soul clipper, which is left part of the heart, which reigns over him as long as he remains wicked, dominated by the small city, while the nefesh, shluch, and neshama are forced into exile under it. When his heart breaks within him, the spiritual uncleanness of Sitrach is broken, the forces of evil are dispersed. We don't know. We don't still don't know. Yeah. We'll have to get to the next. I think I have the wrong page. I printed the wrong page. We're not finished chapter 7, but okay. Like at least Elliot is happy. So God bless him. Have a good day, everybody.
Wait, Rabbi Bookett,
Relax.
can I ask you something? When you're saying that the heart